Hello, welcome back to Leicester Fan TV. This is the Fox's Focus Show. We'll be discussing all things Leicester. Don't forget to put your comments on, read out your comments, and follow us on all the socials below. So, Simon, pretty much a boring week. Nothing's happened since the last pre-season game at the weekend. Nothing.
No, Jono, it's gone quiet, and it obviously got their heads down now. Final kind of 2 weeks before the season starts. We've got the friendly against Fiorentina on Sunday, which will be probably the hardest test we've had in pre-season, you'd think.
Yeah.
Also, the first game at home, so first chance for the fans to have a look at Cifuentes and his team for the first time. You would think that we'll probably start playing a team that will start to look a bit more like the team that Cifuentes thinks will start the season. So I guess things are starting to take shape. Slowly but surely. But Jono, no signings apart from obviously Asmir Bergovic, who would largely, I guess, be considered as a backup stroke experienced stroke bit of a coach type player coming into the squad. We've signed no one really you'll think who'll compete in the first team, and with the likes of El Canouse being linked to Leeds and Crystal Palace and all of these sort of lower stroke mid-table Premier League sides. I think Tottenham have talking about El Canouse at the minute. James Justin was linked with Leeds yesterday. Wilfred Ndidi has got a low release clause, and he's also been talked about going to places like Man United, amongst others. I think Everton have shown an interest as well. You've got Mads Hermansen with West Ham around him, and you would doubt he'll start the season with Leicester City. And of course, Connor Cody, who was talking to Rangers, that fell through, but now Wrexham are looking like they might make a firm bid for Connor Cody. What's your thoughts, Jono, on the fact that we've got all of these players potentially going out the door, most of which would probably be first team starters, and yet we've done no business?
Well, I mean, we knew before the transfer window started that we had to sell before we can buy. That's what the board told Cifuentes before we came in. There's actually the club being open and honest that we can't buy anyone like a decent signing until we sell. I mean, if we want to buy a decent player, we need to sell decent players to get the money. We knew El Canouse and Mads Hermansen aren't gonna stay. Those two players guaranteed. As soon as they got relegated, those are the first two players we all knew will get sold. That'll bring in a big chunk of money. And if we look at the team, the main player we need is a striker. I mean, yes, if we sell Connor Cody, we've got Ben Nelson. He's a good youngster that's come up. I reckon he can play first team in the Championship. We saw against Cologne in the preseason match that Vestergaard and Cody are so bad in defence that I don't mind if one of them gets sold and Ben Nelson replaces one of them. But I'm actually wanting a player to be sold because then we can buy a player. I know we've got the goalkeeper, and yes, I'm actually really happy he's on a 1-year contract, not a 4-year stupid silly contract like we did in Danny Ward. But I want us to sell an El Canouse and Mads Hermansen probably this weekend, and then give us a good week to get us a striker and give him just enough time to get into the team for the game against Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah, and I mean the other thing that I picked up today is that Sheffield Wednesday game, Jono's in doubt in terms of the players haven't been paid. The manager's walked out because of all of the turmoil at the club, and he's cancelled his contract. I'm guessing Sheffield Wednesday are probably in breach of his contract for some reason or another, and he's walked away. They've had to shut one of the stands for safety reasons. That club is in an absolute mess, and it's debatable at the minute whether they're going to be able to get 11 players on the pitch to play Leicester in a week and a half's time, because there's talk of the players going on strike because they're not being paid. So we might almost end up with a situation where that game's either postponed or forfeited next weekend. What do you make about that situation and the kind of turmoil that might cause, and not only for Sheffield Wednesday, but also for Leicester building up to that game?
I mean, to be honest, we all moan and like slag off Leicester because how badly we've been ran, and not we have been ran really badly. We should never have been in a situation where we got relegated 2 years ago in the first place. That team was far too good to get relegated. We should have been in a situation of being in a points deduction, which we didn't get. We didn't get one in the Prem last season. We found one lucky loophole. We're going to get on this season. It pissed off the fans. We're not in a good state, but compared to teams like Morecambe, they're on the brink of not being a football club full stop. Sheffield Wednesday can't even, they can't, as you said, they can't pay their players. They've got no manager. So in terms of our club, we've got a bright future if it's done correctly. Go to the points deduction. You bring up the youngsters. We've got a phenomenal training centre. We've got a decent stadium. So the Leicester City future looks bright. But I couldn't imagine being a Wednesday fan to see my club being absolutely destroyed, and you can't do anything about it.
No, and the owner. From what I know, the owner there is being greedy and asking for 100 million for the club, which is way more than the value. And he's obviously looking to recoup the money he's invested in the club, but it's just not worth that. And yeah, I agree with you, mate. I feel for Sheffield Wednesday fans because I think they're in for a tough season. And who knows if they can even start the season? And that, whilst we're moaning about lots of things, that's a lot worse place than we're in. Let's just chuck a couple of comments in, John. Nick's saying, let's not forget Prem teams have a week longer before the season starts that we do, and the transfer window doesn't actually close until the 1st of September. Nick, you've got an absolute point. For the likes of these Premier League clubs, they're not in as much of a rush as we are because they've got that extra time. But I think we all accept that we're in a situation where we've got to sell before we buy. So you kind of sat there desperately hoping that the club does the business to give Cifuentes and Rudkin a chance to bring some players in, especially as you said, John, in attack where we need to strengthen. Now Vardy's out the door. What we got here, Scott, evening to you, 6414. Can we not send our Deadwood players on loan to Sheffield Wednesday? The terms would be you only get paid if you play. I'm not sure how many of them would play, Scott. No. There's something worth bringing up, and I know we talked about it before, but the players, John, we just talked about likely to have interest. There's another group of players that we probably be more comfortable with leaving that probably won't get any interest. And there's a bundle of players that are in there going into their last year of contract this season. Let me read them out to you, and you give me your thoughts, Jono. Luke Thomas, Harry Winks, Buba Samare, Patson Daka, Ricardo Pereira, James Justin, Connor Cody, Andre Ayew, and Marcel are all in their last year of their contract this season. Does anybody there particularly worry you in terms of their contract running down and you think we should be keeping them?
James Justin for one of them. I think he's still got a few good years in him. Luke Thomas is a worry. Ricardo Pereira. The reason being is that we can still get good money off them. The season we got relegated, it was unforgivable. The amount of players we had on our books that were going on a free, it was absolute criminal. Yuri Tillmans was one of them. He's killing it at Aston Villa, and we let him go. We let him walk off for free, and those are a few of those players. Patson Daka, I can't wait. I can't wait for his contract to expire. But because no one will buy him. No one will buy him this season, or unless we can just say, please, we'll pay his wages, just loan him off. But yeah, those Luke Thomas, Ricardo Pereira, and maybe Harry Winks, Samare. But the thing is, it's not the fact that there's players I don't like that are leaving. It's the fact there's a lot of players that are losing their contracts. It's not like it's one or two. Is it six? Six players you mentioned there?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9.
9 players.
9.
9 players is a lot of players to lose in one to lose in one season, end of this season, right? Yes, we lose all the wages. However, you have to buy at least 5 of players back in order to sustain a deep squad. And if we do get promoted, we don't want to run the risk of doing what we did in the first place, buying players on a large amount of money, high wages, and get relegated again. You know what I mean?
I do, and I can't see the club doing that. I just don't think we have the financial oomph, for a multitude of reasons, Jono, to do that again. I agree with you. Luke Thomas is a real worry for me. I thought he was a real bright spark, especially towards the end of last season when he got in the team over Christensen. I thought he was probably our best player a few games.
Yeah.
So I'd be desperate to keep him. Harry Winks has had a checkered career under Maresca, outstanding in the Championship. The season that came afterwards was almost equally disappointing, especially after the falling out with Van Nistelrooy. I'm not sure. It felt like he was kind of sulking, stroke pining for Maresca all season, and it just didn't. I don't know. I'm on the fence with him. He's a good player, but he's only a good player when he believes in the philosophy of the manager and how he's going to play his part. And if he doesn't like what he's being told and what he's seeing in training, he seems to check out a bit. Yeah. Samare, for me, yeah, please, someone take him now and get his wages off of our club and get gone. Daka the same for me. Had lots of chances, not for me. Ricardo, I would absolutely keep, apart from his injury record, which is worrying for me. He has spent large swathes of virtually every season, in recent times anyway, on the injury table.
Yeah.
And you're paying his wages while he's not available. You've got to kind of think, is this guy value for money? James Justin was full of holes last year, made a lot of mistakes, especially in the first half of the season. But in the Championship, I would say he's a top-class player. Connor Cody, not really bothered about personally, especially if he's true and he's earning 70 grand a week. I'd quite happily get that off the wage bill. I don't think, like you say, Ben Nelson can fill that breach without any trouble for me. Ayew, probably our best goal threat at the minute with what we've got. I'm not sure that makes him a good player, but he's probably the best we've got right now. And Marcel's always flattered to deceive. He's had little pockets of coming into the first team and doing a bit, but then he seems to fall by the wayside again. And none of the managers he's had ever really put him in contention for the first team. So I think there must be maybe a little bit of something missing there. So for me, not bothered. So Luke Thomas probably for me, and Ricardo, maybe Winks if he can sort his head out.
I'm not sure if I'm being stupid, but Bobby Reed, is he actually our player, or did you get him on loan?
No, we signed him, Jono.
I've not seen him all pre-season.
He came back late from playing for Jamaica and then he filtered into training, but since then he's not featured, is he? So I've not seen him on any of the media or anything. So, but he's our player. He's just not really on the radar at the minute. I don't know why.
I don't know when his contract runs out.
No, he's not on the list from yesterday. But I'm guessing, I don't know how long we gave him. I don't know. I mean, again, another one who hasn't really clicked and really contributed much really since he came to the club.
If you would give me 5 players right now to get rid of, it would be Reed, Vestergaard, Daka, Cody, and Hermanson. Those are the 5 players which I'll go sell right now, because that's a good chunk of wages and off our back. I always want to say Hermanson is because I think Solachik is a really good goalkeeper. I think he made a phenomenal save in the preseason friendly. I think he's a good goalkeeper.
Yeah, Hermanson is our best goalkeeper, let's be honest. But I agree with you. Stolarczyk is very, very capable. He's committed because obviously he's grown up at the club. He's more than good enough for the Championship. I agree. If we're going to cash in, then I guess if we have to accept that one or two of our good players are going, Hermanson's not a disaster because we've got cover. Nick, evening to you again. There has been talk of a points deduction since the end of last season. When are we going to find out if this is the case?
No idea. No idea.
I don't think anybody does, do they, Jono?
No.
I mean, I would guess, and it's a guess, that the club are trying to tie the Football League / Premier League up in knots again legally.
The reason why it hasn't been dealt to us yet, because another club has got a points deduction or a transfer embargo, I can't remember who. But the reason why we haven't is because we've challenged it. We challenged it last season against the Premier League, but we found a loophole, and instantly we got away with it. But after that, Premier League shut that loophole down. They've now said that can't be done. There's no way of us wiggling out of it. We will get one. We broke PSR rules. We will get a punishment. We have no idea when or how much. It's been estimated 9 points, but will that be given at the start of the season, the end of the season, middle of the season? No idea. I don't think there'll be a transfer embargo. Some people are saying there'll be a transfer embargo, but there won't be, because if there was one, it'll be put on us now before the transfer window started. Because there's no point us buying a player now. We bought someone. We bought a goalkeeper. They can't put a transfer embargo on us now, because it would be pointless. So we're going to get 9 to 10 points, but we don't know when, and we don't know how far it is in the season.
No, and it's difficult to plan amongst that. Right, here's an answer for us, Jono. Lawrence, D. Cordova-Reid is injured, but who cares?
I don't.
I don't. If I'm honest, Lawrence, I don't really care. Even to you, mate, I don't really care either. But that answers the question as to why he's not been seen, because he's clearly on the injury table. Right, Andy, evening to you. Here's one I wanted to bring up with you, Jono. What are these rumours of an ex-Burnley striker?
Yes.
Well, Andy, it's not a striker; it's a midfielder.
He's a midfielder.
Josh Brownhill. He was Burnley's captain, apparently. Now, here's my question for you, Jono. He's a centre midfielder, fairly short passing, transitional. Sounds incredibly similar.
To Alcanus.
Well, no, a little bit behind that for me. He sounds more similar to Skimp or Winks in that kind of transition role in terms of short passing, picking up the ball from defence and transitioning it. So, do we need that? If that's a sort, or do we need to sign another midfielder?
Is he better than Winks and Skip? No. Skip and Winks aren't good. I mean, okay, let me rephrase that. Skip is awful. He's abysmal. Winks can be very good in a certain system. I think this system suits Winks. I think this system it's basically Enzo Ball on steroids, and I think this will suit Winks. There's no point if we're going to get a midfielder. It has to be an attacking midfielder to fit Alcanus, because he's going to go. And someone just said he's 30. I don't want to keep buying 30-year-old players. And the reason I'm not bothered by the goalkeeper is on a 1-year contract. That's because to play cup games. I'm not bothered by that. I don't want to. We've already bought so many bloody 30-year-olds the last few years. We don't. Reed is one. Ayew is one. Vestergaard, Cody. I'm fed up with 30-year-olds. I want. Cifuentes is famed for buying and loaning young, talented players, age of 21 to 23. Those are the players we need in this club.
Yeah, and I agree with you. And there's an argument actually when we're talking about, we've not signed anyone. Well, what about the youth that's already at Leicester? You've got Page, you've got Thomas, you've got Monga, you've got Alves, you've got Nelson, just to name a few that are kind of around the first team reckoning. Do we need? Would it be better, Jono, for us to go down a route of actually, invest in time and game time in the young players that we've developed ourselves?
The only player I want us to sell 1 or 2 players. One of them is good. My dream transfer window is this: selling Alcanus and Hermansen and buying one really good striker. Because Mavididi can play as a 10, and we'll have Ayew up front. No, sorry, not Ayew up front. A new striker up front. Monga on the left, Fatara on the right. Mavididi is a 10. That'll be my front lineup, and Solasic in goal. That would be my dream transfer window. Sell 2 good players, get a good chunk, get 40-ish million for both of them, and get a new striker in front, and have Monga on the left, Fatara on the right, Mavididi down the middle, and a new striker up front. That would be my dream transfer window.
Yeah, and of course the other one to remember, Jono, is the man on the right who's coming back in after having a whole season out with that ACL he picked up for Ghana, for Tawu. He's like a new signing for us, is he not, for this season, surely?
He didn't. I mean, when he played for us in the championship season last time, he was unreal. He was a bright spark. He took on every player. Every left centre back was absolutely terrified. No one wanted to play against him. But luckily for us, I'll be on two sides this season. I think Monga's going to be an absolute pest. I think he's like a new signing for me as well. I think Monga coming through is an absolute. I don't care how old he is. You're looking at Arsenal when you got that 15-year-old who's lighting up their preseason. I don't care that he's 16, 17. I want him to see in the first team lineup. I want to see him in the first team lineup.
I agree. I think that'll happen as well this season, especially if El Canoes leaves, and we might have to then shift one of them into the middle. I think that brings Monga right into the kind of the pecking order for a start. The latest says D Cordova-Reid's contract expires in 2027, Jono. Wow.
He will be 30. He'll be 34, 35 when that ends.
I mean, it makes you wonder how many games he's going to play for Leicester between now and then. I mean, yeah.
Not many. Don't imagine with Bertrand. Imagine the Bertrand situation.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I imagine he's earning a tidy weekly wage as well for the club. In terms of, coming in from Fulham, I'm sure we had to give him a fair lump to get him in. Here's one from Dorco. Evening to you. Why is Monga trapped as a winger? He could be a great striker. Okay, there's an interesting one. Would you play Monga up front, Jono?
No, and the reason why is I like him on the wing because I think he adds an element on the wing I don't think will be useful as a striker. As a striker, you want him to do one job, and that is score goals. I don't think a striker has the ability. I don't want to see a striker trying to run like skill past people, and I want to see Monga on the wing being a nuisance and going past people, fling crosses in, and I think those skills would be wasted as a striker. I think it'd be better as a winger.
Yeah, especially in his fledgling career, I guess you want him playing to his strengths. Yeah. I'm personally, football philosophy, I'm not a great fan of the false nine thing. I'm much rather have a striker, somebody who plies their trade in that way up front. And I'd like to see someone who's a bit more aerially capable in terms of can play with their feet and their head. So
Monga's not tall. Monga's not tall.
Well, when you exactly, and when you bear in mind that Cifuentes is clearly making the point at the minute that it's our wide players that are our strength. That's where our real talent lays. You want something on the end of the crosses and the balls they're putting into the box.
Yeah.
And for me, almost I'm not saying Chris Wood, but a Chris Wood type player that can score with his feet and his head kind of makes sense to me. Yeah. But we'll see if we get anyone between now and the end of the season. So last thing to talk about before we tootle off for the evening will be this new initiative the club that we were speaking about before we came on, Jono, in terms of the club are asking all of the fan groups that surround Leicester City to sign up, and then we would assume that from signing up they will then start to communicate and potentially have meetings with the fan groups. What's your thoughts?
I think the club has finally listened and understood the fans aren't happy. We can look at Sheffield Wednesday and Morecambe and teams like that who are in desperate need of the club the very high risk of the club even collapsing. But we can't be far away from that. If we're struggling financially, look at King Power, they're struggling, and the fans need to have a voice of their opinion. We're not happy with Rudkin. We're not happy with how the club's being ran. We're not happy with the way they deal with their memberships. We're not happy with the way they charged everyone last season for friendlies, but this season they haven't. The way the parking was done, how they left a steward like a doll in a steward hut and charge everyone for parking when no one was actually watching the parking. It's just we were a joke. And last season, and the club needs to hear the fans' opinion. We did a protest last season. It wasn't a big one, wasn't a good one, but we did a protest. We need to tell them when pissed off how the club's being run, and they need to hear it. And I think it's good that it's not just one-off fans just making a silly comment. It's a group of people, so Leicester Fan TV and other YouTube channels, and the what's that?
Union FS.
Yeah, them.
Yeah.
Groups like that coming together as one opinion, saying this is how we feel.
Yeah, I agree with you.
We haven't even released the kits yet. We haven't even got a kit. I don't want betting sponsors from Thailand on my kit. Why is it taking us 1 week before our season starts to release one of our free shirts?
Well, I mean, to my knowledge, and correct me if I'm wrong, and Andrew, good evening to you. He's saying who's the sponsor. I mean, Johnny, you're just alluding to that now. You can't go to the club shop or online and buy any of our kits right now. I know we've seen some of them, but you would assume the reason why they're not on the hanger is that they haven't agreed a sponsorship deal yet to have it printed on the front of the shirt. Now, the last time, again, correct me if I'm wrong, we were in the Championship. It ended up with King Power on the front of the shirt, but of course that doesn't earn the club any money because that's the owner's own company. So you would assume that at the minute they're desperately trying to find someone to pay to put their name on the front of the shirt. That whole BC Game stroke KC Bet or whatever it is type dodgy company that they've had on the front of the shirt last season isn't very savoury and is clearly not very stable. So you guess the club are probably trying to avoid that. So where does it leave us? I know you've alluded to a few before, but are they struggling, do you think, Jono, to find a paid sponsor to go on our shirt this season?
I mean, we found one. KBet was, I did a show about the leaked shirts, and KBet was our sponsor. But there's a legality reason why we couldn't stick with them, and that fell through. We've heard rumours of Red Bull because of the first preseason game. There was rumours of Red Bull stuff, and if you watch the stream, in the adverts, where there's a Red Bull adverts, that's never happened on any Leicester City stream I've ever seen before. So there are rumours of Red Bull. There'll be a lot of money coming in, but there's nothing been concrete about that. If it was Red Bull, they've been done already. I think they're just trying to find. They can't have anyone strong with BC Game. You can't, because that'll be the same company. It's just a mess. Why can't other clubs doesn't find it hard to find a sponsor? I don't know why we can't just get a standard sponsor. You know what I mean?
I don't know. It's weird, isn't it? I mean, I think we've been last to everything this season. Last to a manager, last to a signing. I mean, we're going to be the last to stick a shirt out for sale. I don't. It just feels like everything is just on freeze frame at the club at the minute, and usually we'd be playing in the shirt the last game of the season before. It just I can't get my head around it at the minute. I don't. You would think we're Championship, but we can still find a paying sponsor surely to want to put. I mean, how many of our games have been put on TV before Christmas? Loads.
Yeah.
You'd think someone would want to put their name on our shirt and pay good money for it.
And plus, if you think about it, if we did our business early, you want to have Leicester City's new striker and a shirt release. But again, the club has been lax on the signings and of the recruitment. And all we're going to do is we're going to make one post on Facebook saying, "Oh, new shirt." No fancy video, not seeing it on streams. Just one post, and play. And plus, fans aren't going to run out and buy that shirt. There's no reason to it. I'll buy it because I'm just an idiot. But you've got to give a fan. You've got to excite the fans. You can't just we're not like a subscription. You're not going to just release it and expect everyone just to go out and buy stuff. You've got to we're not customers. We are fans. You've got to gain our trust back. And at the moment, you're not gaining our trust back with dodgy sponsors. And again, this is why the feedback stuff is really helpful. With dodgy sponsors, late kits, no communication on signings or anything like that. We're just very lucky this season that on the pitch has actually been quite planned out. I think on the pitch this season, Andy King has done one of the best jobs, I think, in Leicester's pre-season for the last 5 years. I think he's done a phenomenal job, and I think the way Sheffield has come in and implemented his tactics instantly. I saw it in the first pre-season game with him. I was very impressed. But off the pitch, we're still a shambles.
Yeah. Let's just hope that come Sheffield Wednesday, as long as they can put a team out, we got a shirt to wear with a sponsor on the front. We've got a couple of players in, the strikers in, and we're raring to go. Jono, it's been a pleasure switching up and changing things around a little bit tonight. Over to you, mate, to wrap the evening up.
Yeah, I wasn't planned. Things have happened which I couldn't deal with. Well, had to deal with instead. So Simon had to do all the planning tonight. Appreciate Simon for doing that. But we're back on Sunday for the aftermath show after the Florentina game. Oh, before we go, let's do score predictions. We didn't discuss the Florentina game. I think we're going to lose 2-1. I think we're going to lose 2-1.
Okay, interesting. I had a little bit of a read of their team. I didn't realise David De Gea is their goalkeeper, the old Man United keeper. Apparently had a good season for him last season. They've got a few good players. They've got to the latter stages of European competitions lately. They're clearly a good side. They're by far the best team we've played, albeit I think we're the first of 3 games for them over here. They're playing us, Forest, and then Man United, I think.
Yep.
So we're the first and probably the easiest of the 3 games for them on paper. I'm going to go with an honourable 2-2 draw.
Wayne put the exact same thing.
Oh, there we go. Wayne, you and I think alike. I think we're heading in the right direction. I'm optimistic, John. I think Cifuentes is on the right track. Just needs a bit of support from the club in terms of getting a couple of players in.
I'm very encouraged by him tactically. I'm encouraged by the young players coming through. Those only 2 things are giving me hope for this season. But cheers you. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for sending all of your comments. As I said, we're back on Sunday for the aftermath show after the pre-season friendly, and hopefully on Sunday we have a shirt to talk about and wear. But until then, thank you all for watching, and we will see you all next time.
The Leicester City machine is on the march again.
Leicester Fan TV presents a variety of content like fan discussions, match analysis, and engaging with Leicester fans worldwide. We want your views live, thanks to our sponsors, Everard's, Pucker Pies, Hologram, Take Me, Newbie & Co, and the Fox's Arms.
Want to watch more content like this? Hit the like button. Give us your views. Hit subscribe to Leicester Fan TV and make sure to follow us on all socials.